Kansas takes on Missouri this weekend, and our good friends over at FanDuel have the Mizzou Tigers minus 6.5. Kansas, who is 2-0, who played in week 0 and week 1, plays off against the boys from Como. Joe, when you see this Missouri-Kansas game going down, how do you see it playing out?
Look, Kansas has been – they've been fun. I haven't played anyone, but Jalon Daniels is doing his typical Jalon Daniels bit. 80% completion percentage in their first 2 games against mediocre small school opponents. 10 yards per attempt. This offense looks exactly like we knew it was under Lance Leipold, where it's explosive, it's confusing, it's creative, it's fun. But Blake, I'm taking Missouri minus 6.5 against Kansas in this game. And it's quite simple. They run the ball really freaking well with Pribula and Hardy. But there is a stark separation between the lines of scrimmage between Missouri and between Kansas. Their front seven is phenomenal. Their offensive line's good. It's a quality offensive line. But in this game specifically, I think that they've got a pretty big edge. Blake, I said this last week, and it was my lock of the week. I said, give me Auburn to cover against Baylor and to win. And that shit hit because of me pointing out that they were stronger on both lines of scrimmage. Give me the SEC against a Big 12 team in any day when there is this much of a stark difference.
Yeah. I do think this border war, which is what it's called, in the rivalry, I think this one can be pretty close early because I think both teams love to run the football. The biggest question that everyone asks when, hey, man, 3 straight seasons with Eli Drinkwitz, or 2 straight seasons. 2 straight seasons with Eli Drinkwitz having 10 wins. How did it happen? He finds dudes out of the portal at running back. Ahmad Hardy goes to Missouri. Joe ran 10 carries, 100 yards last week. Pribula looked like a really special athlete. I get it, Central Arkansas. I think that they're going to be able to be the better version of what Kansas wants to be in moments and times. The question is can Jalon Daniels get through all 4 quarters against a Power 4 opponent? And every single week I worry about it. I do think that there were some times that Fresno State gave Kansas some issues up front, especially early. When they tried to get on the outside, Joe, Fresno State was able to keep some contain early. Then they just got worn down, didn't have the depth. I look at Missouri and say the lines of scrimmage is where I'm looking at the most. But I do wonder, there was some points in times where Missouri was kind of lethargic in the beginning of that game. They're rotating in multiple quarterbacks. I know Sam Horn only had one play. Are they playing around with their food or are they serious? Because that run game under Drink has always been pretty damn good.
And I mean, like, I'm not, I know, and this is like the recurring theme. I'm not putting a lot of stock into how they played against an FCS opponent. Central Arkansas is a decent FCS team. It's a competitive team. They're going to show up and fight. But I really think that where the separation is had is more specifically with this defensive line getting after Jalon Daniels. And you just talk about, I'm not trying to project here that he gets hurt. That's not what I'm trying to do. But you've got a guy that has had inconsistent health throughout his career. He's played so much football because of it. And you've got Wilson, who has been deemed this really high upside pass rusher that needed an opportunity to start full time in a less crowded unit. And you have Young, who's a guy in NFL circles is considered to be a potential riser in this upcoming draft. I think that this is going to be a game where Daniels is going to be pressured and smothered every single time he drops back. I really think that it's going to be very similar to, I know I'm like drawing a lot of comparisons to the Baylor-Auburn game, but Sawyer Robertson in a couple of areas, he had Keldrick Falk and that crew coming after him. I think that the same thing applies here. And I don't think Kansas is anywhere near as good of a team as Baylor is. And I think that Missouri and Auburn, Missouri's a better team than Auburn. I know I'm trying to do a little bit of transitive property here, but when we're sticking to the theme that I'm trying to bring up is that the line of scrimmage, the physicality, who is going to win those matchups? I'm going to take a squad that's got 2 great pass rushers going up against a okay Big 12 offensive line.
Because of week 0 and week 1, a lot of people were saying to themselves, and remember in week 0, did Jalon Daniels figure out something throwing the football? It was highly accurate in week 1, highly accurate in week 2, did some really good things the first 2 weeks. Last week, Joey had 4 passing touchdowns. He did throw the interception, but I do wonder if they can kind of make him and force him to stay in that pocket. Joe, what does he do? What does he do? Has he worked on that area of his game? Or is what we're seeing him as when he does make these really good throws down the field, is he making right decisions? Is he making the right play? Against a better opponent will be a big thing here. So we'll see. I'm with you. I am also probably going to take Missouri in the points. We'll talk about this in just a little bit more. But Joe, Kansas has also had 3 turnovers in their first 2 games against really bad opponents. And I do wonder, when you're turning the ball over against bad opponents, what is good opponents, what are they able to do to you? 3. I know it's not a lot, but it also is like, man, if they can get out of after Jalon Daniels, does he make a wrong decision? And Missouri, who first forced a lot of turnovers last week, can they continue on that same path?
I think it's a really good point to bring up. The last kind of thought that I have is, the Sam Horn situation is tough, and I thought Pribula showed some positive signs with the limited passing attempts that he had. I mean, 82% completion percentage is silly for any opponent that you're going up against. I do think, or I do wonder, and I want to see how much can they incorporate him as a passer as the full-time quarterback. How does this offense look? Are they going to just lean on his legs and Ahmad Hardy's legs? Pribula was one of these guys that just fits the billing of being like a really quality, impactful college quarterback that just does everything right, is going to grind you out, is going to fight for extra yards. Kind of like a light version of Riley Leonard. That's what you can get out of him at Missouri this year, and I'm excited to see this first challenge for Pribula to prove what he's capable of doing.
Here's a hot take. Pribula is what all of y'all thought Avery Johnson was.
Well, he's only played 1 game.
Okay.
And Avery Johnson's still only a junior.
What's Pribula?
He is a graduate transfer senior. He's a 5th year. He's been around for a minute.
My man's going to run all over him.
Oh, that I don't disagree with.
He's going to run all over him. All right, we have a couple of super chats here. Elks with a $2 super chat says, inside sources, Heartline did not call the game for Ohio State.
I don't have any counter sources, so I can't confirm or deny this. Elks sent us a super chat on Monday, and we missed it, by the way. He said thoughts on ESECPN Texas spin after the loss. I mean, are we shocked that also that was something that happened, that like they're piping up Texas? Like, I don't think that's like anything that we should truly be surprised by.
I don't think it's a spin job. I think that they're still a really good team.
That's the other part too.
I mean, like, here's going to be the biggest laughing thing of all season. You ready? So many people talking all that craziness with Arch. Arch is going to get better. He's going to get better. Stop.
And that was what we talked about after the game.
Right.
So it's not.
Stop, man. I know. You know what's so crazy is I was the one when he was being recruited telling everybody on this show, pump the brakes. You remember this, Joe. I'm like, y'all got to pump the brakes. He's not there yet, as he can be, but he's not there yet. And now I'm the one defending him, saying, okay, hold on. The one that y'all has the best Heisman odds on FanDuel, by the way,
that should never have happened.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I saw Garrett Nussmeier threw 2 pick sixes versus an FCS opponent.
Yeah.
Can we please calm down?
Right.
Like, good Lord. Brian says, a $2 super chat says, best front 7 give up 4.6 yards per carry and 0 pressures.
Talking about Texas, It's the first game of the season. Yes, they got outperformed. Yes, they didn't get any pressures. That's an issue. But I still think that
The longest run they gave up was 8 yards.
Yeah, they didn't give up any big runs. They got the ball out extremely quick. Sam played well, but the more emphasis point here is that they were getting the ball out really quick. That's why there were zero pressures that happened. There weren't really many 3rd and long situations or like
no. He had one and he threw a fade route to Cornell Tate.
We need the context there. We need the context.
Yeah, you need the context there. This from a former Ohio State coach who still has friends on staff. Also, ignore Brian. He said Underwood is C.J. Stroud and Cam Newton. He's a Michigan homer. He says he's talking OSU. Oh, okay.
Oh. Well, I don't think that they're the best front seven. I think they have a good front seven. I don't think that they're the
No,
best.
you just face off against the best front seven if you're Ohio State.
Yeah. I didn't know Brian was a Michigan guy. That's funny. We've got
I know. Just to answer the super chat, I have no idea what I'm going to say about. I don't know what to say about Heartline. All right.
Yeah. Shit.
Good Lord.
1 second.
You got to go get a battery.
I am. I'm going to.
You got to go get like 70 of them.
Yeah, I know. I've been having issues. I'm aware. I was working on resolving it. It's been a shit week tech wise, but whatever.
Iowa versus Iowa State. The Cyhawk Trophy is going down this weekend. Joe, when you look at the game, your thoughts?
Look, I know Iowa State fans are probably going to be awfully excited to hear this,